Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is William Heineman, and this is Just Force 911, where we look at how our public officials do their job or they completely and totally screw it up. Guys, if you would, while you're here, subscribe, hit the share and like button. For me, helps my algorithms. Thumbs up, thumbs down tells me how I'm doing for you. And leave a comment, please. Oh, don't forget about the bell icon because it tells you when I put out a new video. This one here comes from civil rights lawyer. Excuse me. He is the one doing the narrating on this. This is, once again, cops fabricating, lying, covering up. And then the police, remember I told you about if your cops are scumbags, your chief is? Well, this chief is a piece of crap. He lies. He makes stuff up. You got to see it, and you'll understand why. Let's get started on this. Here we go.
His son came out and attacked the officer. Autism doesn't give you the right to punch a police officer.
This Florida police chief told Telemundo that his police officers did nothing wrong when they violently attacked this Latino autistic man.
His son came out and attacked the officer. When they went to the door, the kid came out kicking and punching.
You probably didn't even hear about this if you're not in that community, but they're upset because here's the footage that was released. Does it show this autistic man getting out of the car and punching and kicking these police officers?
He's gonna fight. Why? Stay in the car. Why? Stay in the car. Why? Man, I didn't do it.
I think they stunned him probably 3 times, finally got his hands back behind him, got him handcuffed. Then the mom comes running up and says that he's autistic.
He has autism. Go back in your car. He has autism.
So you have cops that are out of control. You have a police chief who wouldn't know the truth if it slapped him in the face. And he's just a piece of crap. And he can't understand why his officers are going rogue. Really? Where did he throw a punch? Where did he kick? Not one time. The officer did. Threw him on the ground for nothing.
Go back in your car.
No, the video does not show that at all. But what it does show is these officers just seconds earlier attacking that man's father, grabbing him, throwing him to the ground in front of his autistic son, upsetting him. And for what? Over a suspended license. That did not have to be an arrestable offense. But this officer wanted to teach this family a lesson. And the police chief is so supportive of that he's giving interviews to Telemundo.
His son came out and attacked the officer. Autism doesn't give you the right to punch a police officer.
Yeah, but what gives you the right to lie to the American public? Whether you're Hispanic, white, black, it doesn't matter. When are you assholes going to start getting held responsible for your actions? When?
Can you step out of the vehicle for me? Do you speak English?
A little.
What language?
Spanish.
Okay. Where are you going?
All right, that is the autistic man's father, Orlando Diaz. This happened on September 10th in Holmes Beach. Holmes Beach police officer Christopher Liotti ended up arresting this man, 72-year-old Bradenton, Florida resident, Orlando Diaz. He ended up getting arrested for driving with a suspended driver's license. Now, the reason that the officer pulled him over in the first place is, you know, these license plate readers that cops have all over their cars. The license plate reader flagged the registration on this vehicle just because of the suspended license of its owner, Orlando Diaz. Now, this officer, Liotta, approached the driver's side of the car and he asked Orlando Diaz to step out of the car, asked where he was going and whether he spoke English. Liotti asked if anyone in the car spoke English.
Huh?
Do they speak English?
A little, my son.
Can you come over and talk to me? Do you speak English? Okay, can you come over and talk to me?
Then Francisco exited the passenger door and walked around to the front of the car so that he could assist his father by translating. And Francisco Diaz is the 30-year-old autistic son of Orlando. Francisco's mother is also in the car as well.
Okay, you speak English? Okay. Can you ask him if he's been to court for his driver's license issues? Ask him what the reason is that he has not gotten his driver's license fixed in over 20 years. Has he ever been arrested for this?
No, nunca.
Okay. Tell him he's being arrested today. Turn around.
My wife, my son.
Turn around. Place your hands behind your back.
The mother put up a GoFundMe, which I'll link below. It already has raised over $27,000, but it includes her description of the events that occurred. This is what she says happened. On September 10th, 2024, at around 8 p.m., we were running an errand in Bradenton, Florida, when a police officer pulled us over. The officer came to our car and began speaking aggressively. He asked my husband, Orlando Diaz, 72 years old, to provide his license, which was expired, then to step out of the vehicle. My son, Francisco Diaz, 30, who is autistic, was sitting in the passenger seat. The officer asked if he spoke English and could translate. The officer then informed my husband that having an expired driver's license was a crime. My husband said he would pay the fine, accept the ticket, but the officer began to arrest him on the spot.
Tell him not to make this any difficult.
He is.
I can't. I know drive. My son not drive, please. Oh my God, my God.
Turn around.
I live over there.
Turn around.
My.
Go back in the car. Go back in the car. Go back in the car. Go back in the car.
Please.
Turn around.
Please.
Turn around. Turn around. Go away.
Francisco, witnessing how aggressive the officer was with his father, tried to intervene, asking the officer to stop when he began to cuff Orlando. I, Francisco's mother, asked him to get back into the car. Then the officer slammed my 72-year-old husband to the ground, causing Orlando to lose consciousness.
Back it up.
Please.
Turn around.
Help me, please.
Turn.
He later had to be taken to the hospital due to the injuries he sustained.
You need to get him uncuffed?
Huh?
Should we uncuff him?
No, leave him cuffed. He's breathing. He's got a pulse. He's just being difficult right now and doesn't want to do anything.
The officer returned to the car, pulled Francisco out, twisted his hand, and slammed him to the ground as well.
He needs to be put in cuffs.
I said.
Passenger. Hold on, I gotta double lock this.
His son came out and attacked the officer. Autism doesn't give you the right to punch a police officer.
He's gonna fight. Stay in the car. Why? Stay in the car. Why, man? I didn't do it.
I think they stunned him probably 3 times, finally got his hands back behind him, got him handcuffed. Then the mom comes running up and says that he's autistic.
You need to go back in your car.
He has autism.
Go back in your car.
Francisco was tased 3 times. As his mother, I repeatedly yelled that my son is autistic, but the officers ignored me.
Hijo has autism.
Go back in your car.
Hijo has autism.
I'm seeking justice for both my son and my husband. My son has been falsely charged with being aggressive towards 5 police officers, EMTs, and firefighters. I'm facing a $5,000 fee to get my son out of jail. My husband has since been released from the hospital and is recovering from his injuries. We are asking for your support in raising $60,000 to cover bail, hospital bills, and legal fees to fight this injustice. Every contribution, no matter how small, will help us defend my son and husband. We are Peruvians who have lived in Florida and called it home for 30 years. Now we have to place our faith in our community. Please, if you can, help us by donating and sharing our story. The police chief told Telemundo that it really wasn't until after the use of force began on the son that the mother came up to tell them that the son was autistic. But if we look at the footage from the scene that night, the main officer involved here, that was engaged in the use of force, Liadi, he went and found a translator from the bystanders. And then once the translator was there, he didn't seem to care at all that the son was autistic. And here's the problem. The conventional wisdom is that police officers, part of their training is to know when they're dealing with individuals who may be autistic. Language barrier aside, that was clearly the case here. I mean, it was pretty obvious, and I don't speak Spanish, and I can tell what the mother was saying. Now, if you're dealing with a serious situation, you have to take immediate action, and hindsight's 20/20 and all that. That's one thing. But we're talking about an expired license or a suspended license, whatever it was, and there's no rush. You can call backup or whatever. You can give it a little bit more time rather than immediately escalating or getting a translator there. If you know somebody's autistic that you're dealing with, you are going to approach that situation differently. Here, we can tell from the conversation after the fact, the officers didn't care at all.
Does anybody speak Spanish? You speak Spanish? So you do know them? How do you know them?
They're customer from here.
Okay, all right. You want to come and explain to her what's going on real quick? You need to explain to her that her husband is going to jail for the driving violations, and her son is going to jail for striking me. And it doesn't matter. He knows what he was doing. He had enough notice to curse at me, try to fight with me, and that's why he's going to jail. So you can explain that to her. He was able to translate for me with the husband. He was able to translate, and then when he saw his father going into handcuffs, he decided he wanted to try to fight. Okay?
Because he's scared. Maybe he was scared.
It doesn't matter. Being scared doesn't give him the right to break the law. Okay? So if you want to just relay that to her, and then we'll go from there.
Again, my biggest problem with this is not the fact that the father was arrested, because they have the right to do that. It's how it was done and the manner in which it was done. And then after the fact, they're lying and accusing this autistic son, who they were relying on to be translator, which is a problem in and of itself. So this problem, they participated in the making of it. So they asked the son to get out of the car and serve as translator. He could have just issued the citation and gone about his business and let them go away. There was no safety hazard. It had been done before several times. He wanted to make a big deal about it. He wanted to make an arrest to send a message to this family or whatever. And then afterwards, he'd lie. Clearly, the autistic son, if you look at the dash cam footage, interfered in the arrest. No question. He put his hands on his father because he didn't want his father to be taken away in handcuffs, which is very, very sad.
Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Back up. Back up. Step it up. You cannot push me. Back it up.
You do not see him attacking the police officer. And then secondly, after he gets back into the car at the direction of his mother, they go to pull him out of the car. And this time they're ready. They are going to use force. This is a setup. They pull him out of the car. They're going to pretend that he attacks them. Again, there's a language barrier. This is their translator, so they don't have a translator. They're going to do one of those things you see in my other videos where they bark a quick order, and then a millisecond later, they'll say that the order wasn't followed, and then boom, they use violence. And that's exactly what they did to Francisco Diaz here.
He needs to be put in cuffs. Passenger. Hold on, I got to double lock this. He's going to fight. Stay in the car. Why? Stay in the car.
Why, man? I didn't do it.
I think they stunned him probably 3 times, finally got his hands back behind him, got him handcuffed. Then the mom comes running up and says that he's autistic.
The chief was lying. The officer was lying.
And her son is going to jail for striking me.
His son came out and attacked the officer. When they went to the door, the kid came out kicking and punching.
Francisco never attacked them. He got out of the car as instructed, and then they went hands-on and grabbed him and
My question is, did the police chief even watch the video? Because you don't see him doing any of that. The police chief's just going by what the officer said, not the video. The video doesn't lie. These cops lie all the time.
Threw him through the air and down to the ground. And then after that, they jumped on him and tased him multiple times. And I can't show the footage, but I will link below the raw body cam footage. And it's very sad. It's terrible. But the worst thing about it is that they lied about it after the fact. They lied about Francisco, the autistic man, attacking police officers when he didn't. And the video proves it.
And her son is going to jail for striking me.
When they went to the door, the kid came out kicking and punching.
When the government lies like this, if they have to lie, they have done something wrong. They are incredible. They are untrustworthy. Those charges should be dropped at this point. I think the community is right to be outraged. I'll link the GoFundMe below.
Not only should the charges be dropped, those officers should be charged and should do time.
You can help by donating and also by sharing this footage. As you can see, a lot of this has just been available in the Spanish language news market. I haven't really seen it much of anywhere else. So share this. And also subscribe both here and on my blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Follow me on Twitter at JohnBryanESQ, also called The Civil Rights Lawyer there. Again, I want to thank everybody for all the advice regarding my eye. I finally did have the eye doctor basically do the procedure that had to be done. And now I'm following his instructions. So hopefully it's going to eventually get better. There's really nothing else I can do about it that I'm not already doing. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.
So what do you guys think? Should these officers be charged? I say yes. Anyway, let me know, guys, in the comments, and I will talk to you again later. Thank you.